my name is Tina, and I want to talk about the Pyro Traveler. Trust me, stay here. I know, no one cares about Pyro Traveler, but hear me out because there are just so many implications here, even story-wise, and I want to just dive into everything that's out right now. Please, just please watch this video. I swear it's gonna be interesting. And now, if there's still anyone left in here, I want to go back to before Natlan. I'm just gonna keep bringing it up every single time. I told you the Traveler is not gonna get Pyro at least for a while. People were like, no, they just didn't showcase it. I told you. That was, I just had to get it out. Anyways, I was still kind of wrong. Originally, I thought the reason we don't have Pyro at the start is because there is some ley line interference, like not enough power, which is like, it's still true, but that's not the reason we don't have the powers just yet. The reason is that we don't have an ancient name. You have to have an ancient name to be in this Night Soul Blasting state. And this is precisely going to be the story of the whole Archon quest, as at the start we're going to be getting our very own ancient name. Pause, because I just realized that the Traveler actually uses Hydro Steel in this fight, which means that the Pyro ability is not gonna come to us. Maybe not even the ancient name until the whole fight is over. And I don't know what's gonna be our ancient name. I was like thinking about like maybe Hina, you know, like H-N-A. But I guess ancient names aren't like your real names, it's more like a family name. And there's actually something interesting that they said in the stream, as the Traveler would be more powerful with the more you fill up that scroll you got. At first I was like, this is a pretty interesting mechanic, but then I realized what they meant, since they also talked about this. After you reach level 4 with each tribe, you're getting this ore. And if you go to the game to check it out, I have 2 so far because I have maxed out 2 tribes so far. It says, wait for the moment to activate this item. Since you have to get all 6 tribes to level 4 in order to get the ore, 6 ores, gonna be the C6 Traveler. It's pretty obvious. But just so you know, even if you have everything level 6, you still have 1 more tribe once the new region comes out, which is Iansan's tribe as far as I remember. I just wanted to clear this up because they try to hide it with like, oh, don't spoil it. But this is like super obvious. And before we move on to the actual abilities, and after that, some theories, because there's some moves how this fight is gonna go, and there is one interesting thing, basically higher slashing, and like, I don't know how to describe it. The slashes like extend, it's like a range attack. That is not part of the Pyro Traveler kit. So that basically confirms that there will be story specific elements. That's not gonna be part of the usual kit. That's only for this one fight during the Archon quest. And this is the perfect time to move on to the actual abilities. Descender. The Traveler Pyro is here, the star that transcends destiny. Hello, Traveler! After the version 5.3 update, the moment to restore to the Pyro element has finally arrived. Unlike before, how will the Traveler obtain this newfound power this time? I mean, probably with the ancient name, I would assume. Complete where all hopes lie in Archon Quest Chapter 5 Act 5, incandescent of the I cannot pronounce that Ode of Resurrection. Just complete it and you're gonna get it. And here is something very important, story-wise as well. After completing the Archon Quest, giving offerings to the throne of the Primal Fire will further enhance your Pyro abilities. So what is the throne of the Primal Fire? First of all, this is not the Sacred Flame, this is not the throne in Natlan. This also isn't the Tablet of Tona, so that's not how you will get Constellations. Primal Fire hasn't really been talked too much about so far. However, there have been mentions. Basically, it has been mentioned in the records of Hanan Pacha that among those treasures, one of the most striking was known as the Phlogiston. That was a crystal refine of the Primal Fire in the depths of the Great Volcano, and its color was that of an ever-shifting rainbow shining with dazzling light. Primal Fire is gonna be in the depths of the Great Volcano. The Great Volcano, which is so far not in the game, that's gonna come out next patch. But for now, just watch the skills because we're never gonna finish this video. First, the elemental skill, Flowfire Blade. Okay, how should I describe this? This is like budget Bavuika. And I'm gonna be honest, it's like not looking too bad. First, if you just tap it, it's gonna summon a blazing threshold that follows the current active character. It will deal Night Soul aligned pyro damage to nearby opponents at intervals. And there's also a hold which summons a scorching threshold. When the current active character deals damage to opponents, the threshold will launch a coordinated attack that deals Night Soul aligned pyro damage. which is gonna be pretty OP with someone like Xingqi or Leian. But basically, if you wanna do AoE damage in the short distance, just tap it. And if you wanna do longer range but coordinated attacks, then hold it, and you're gonna have a little like pyro fly thing above your shoulders that's gonna shoot lasers. And as for the elemental burst, plain Scorcher. After unleashing the elemental burst, it deals Night Soul aligned AoE pyro damage to opponents up ahead and restores the Traveler's Night Soul points periodically for a certain duration afterward. I don't think the damage is necessarily too important here, because I don't think anyone would run Traveler as main DPS. I do think that they have some place as like an off-fielder, in which case the damage just doesn't matter. It's just gonna restore the Night Soul points, which is, by the way, pretty OP, I would say. However, that's just not important. This is really small compared to the other off-fielding capabilities. Prepare to face the approaching boss. I've only noticed it later, but there's also Netlin written there, with like abyssal condial ladders, which is interesting. Like, why is it with that? I'm not even gonna get into that, just there's Netlin written there in the background. Everyone in Netlin knows how important this final battle is. You will be remembered and revered long into the future until the end of time. The soon-to-be forged ancient name marks the chapter of your adventure with your companions. No one fights alone. Are you ready? Question marks, which is probably gonna be our ancient name. In the final battle, you will burn away the darkness and shine with a dazzling brilliance. And there we are, fighting this new abyssal boss, mimicking a dragon sovereign. For Netlin, Nata no Tameni. And that's it for what's officially out. With that being said, I wanna go back to the trailer. I think we have got a little bit of information from these pages, and I wanna make some theories. Besides the fact that we finally see Capitano, there's gonna be some disturbing revelations later. This is also when we find out that somehow we need to win in order for the Ode of Resurrection to work. I don't know, it doesn't matter. What matters is the scene that we're seeing here, because once we get into this building, there's gonna be a throne, and I have a feeling that is the throne of the Primal Friar, or however it's called. We finally also see the boss, the abyssal boss. I guess like this is the abyss itself. Blurred out names. I don't think this is necessarily to hide something. It's like, you know, like those like crossed out names in certain texts. There's Mavoika the Traveler. And Capitano as well! Where is Capitano? Genshin? Where is Capitano? We haven't seen him in like any of the trailers. The lives of the Descenders are more valuable than you can imagine. This is, I'm pretty sure, the monster talking. And here's my theory. There might be a scenario when it's like, you have to sacrifice the Traveler. Traveler is a Descender, and that would save the whole Netlin, and everyone would be happy. But then Capitano is like, no, I'm gonna sacrifice myself for the Traveler. I can see something like this. You have destroyed this world's hope with your own hands. They're not gonna give me the Traveler. Traveler is gonna survive, but I would assume that is not coming without other sacrifices. But then the dragon saying, if you so yearn for the agony of death, then bow down to his true appearance. Who is the only immortal person in this party? I don't have good feelings about this next patch, guys. He's corroding, he wants death, and the Traveler's sacrifice is not happening. Capitano Nation, we might have a problem here. The fate of this land is of no interest to me anymore. I think people assume this was the ruler of that, but we do not have to assume, because in the Japanese version, for all the voice actors, there is the ruler of that, Ronova. And the funny part is even the Traveler, Sora, is a little Ether, called Ether in English. Even Ether is credited here, but I'm pretty sure Ether had like a few... The monster, the dragon monster, is not credited here? Probably because they just don't want to reveal it. Or maybe there is something even crazier and it just someone we know. Like, what if Capitano corroded so much that he became a monster? That was a bad idea. I'm taking it back. So we have Ronova, the ruler of that, and that's confirmed, who cursed the full-blooded Conrians with immortality. So Ronova saying that the land doesn't matter to her anymore kind of suggests to me that either the Ode of Resurrection is over, or maybe the land doesn't need an Archon anymore. If there is no flame, there is no more Archonhood, because that was the source of their power, and Ronova was the one who gave this power to Netlin. I know, I'm sorry, I kind of baited everyone in with my Pyro Traveler video, and it turns out it was just me talking about all the story elements, also more in Capitano Nation, possibly. And if you like this video, make sure to give a like and subscribe as well. More videos coming next year, obviously. Thank you once again for sticking by in a Pyro Traveler video. See you in the next one. Bye bye. Thank you.